What's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Men to Heal, which focuses on men's overall wellness, their mental health, physical health, and of course, their emotional health. And I'm also the author of a book called Man Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to better express themselves. I definitely appreciate all my fellows who went out and got this book as a tool. Congratulations on taking the next step and working on certain issues and things that you want to learn insight about. Salute to my fellow clinicians who got this book and doing interventions or just got it in your lobby as a conversation starter. I definitely appreciate you. And of course, salute to those spouses out there who doing these interventions with their partner over dinner or date night or just having these engaging conversations. I definitely appreciate it. And praises to those parents who got this book for their young sons. You guys are making a difference. I definitely appreciate that. I like to see the feedback that you're leaving reviews or sending me personal messages or emails. I definitely appreciate it. And if you want a copy of the book, make sure you go to Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Target, Walmart, pretty much anywhere books are sold. I definitely appreciate you. On my website also is my board game. Yes, I created a board game called Cheesy Dates, which is pretty much for all type of relationships, whether that's your platonic relationships or your intimate relationships. You can have this at your girls' night, your boys' nights, or adult game nights, and especially, of course, couples' nights. That board game comes with two card decks. One is a date card deck with multiple different date ideas, and then the other card deck is those tough conversations that you need to have within your relationship. Get you thinking, help you increase communication, and of course, there's some pawn pieces that assist you with moving around the board. I definitely appreciate it. So www.mentoheal.com. And if you're new here, make sure you like, share, subscribe. And if you've been here for a while, definitely appreciate you. We're monetized now. And so since you've been here, or if you're new here, you know that I interview different guests. And the guest that I got coming up now is...
Peace and love, everybody. I go by Soul Cole. One of the things that I dabble in now is a flow facilitator, leaning in different modalities of breath work, sound therapy, guided meditations. That's just to name a few, but I'm glad to be here today.
Now, I appreciate you for being here today. And a lot of people don't know that you had a stint within the NFL, which is a good thing. So,
Yeah.
how'd you go from a barbaric sport to something like flow and yoga and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, but I played with the New Orleans Saints from 2014 to 2018 as an undrafted free agent. Started my career on the practice squad, worked my way up to the 53-man roster, and towards the end of my career. And then it's funny you talked about that because I was thinking to myself the other day about had myself now gone back and did career day, when I was in middle school and I got a chance to speak to my younger self and he got a chance to see his future self and I think the question he would have asked is, how did you get from the NFL to mindfulness and meditation? That would have been the biggest gap. He was like, well, I see, the trajectory, from college D1 to the NFL. I'm loving that. And I'm loving the physical assets, the height. We have a growth spurt now. I'm loving, the development physically. But where did we get to this mental part? Like what happened there? And so I often find that is quite comical because the only reason I got there was because of the healing that I had to go through that was caused from my experience in the league. And a physical healing is where it started on the surface level, some of the injuries that I faced and that took me down a spiral of rehab, but it took a toll on me mentally, it took a toll on me emotionally and spiritually, and to the point where I had just reached a point where my cup had just overflowed of things that I just hadn't dealt with, of trauma that got exposed and other things that just came to the surface that now I have no choice but to face. And I just didn't have the resources to face those. I wasn't, before I wasn't going to see a therapist because of the stigma of therapy in the black community, especially as an athlete, right? I shied away from it for years because I couldn't let myself get over that stigma. And it wasn't until I got to that point I said, okay. And everybody has a point in their life where it's just, it's that breaking point. And now it's like, okay, how are you going to make an adjustment? Are you going to stay in this? Are you going to choose? Because it comes down to you having a choice. And at the end of the day, I had a choice. Do I want to stay in this state of mind and allow myself to, my mind to deteriorate and my mind to tell my body that we're just not going to heal? Or am I going to tell my mind that we're going to come through this and we're going to get through this together and this is how we're going to do it? And so I chose the latter, and now here we are.
Now that's an interesting perspective, and I think a lot of people have that difficult challenge of having a full mind opposed to being mindful. But it sounds like you got a positive transition out of it. So, did you find it easier to make that transition from? Because now, like I talk to a lot of athletes, specifically football players and basketball players, who don't view yoga as something that can assist them with their flexibility, their agility, their dexterity, just so
Yeah,
many different things, not knowing that,
yeah,
because they got the mindset of it's for women or it's
yeah.
for ladies. Even myself, like I do more stretching now, um,
And I
but
ever did.
yeah, but not knowing though the benefits of it, because like like it's just that stigma attached to yoga being so feminine in most cases, opposed to just being so athletic, I guess you could say. Did that stigma part bother you, or just the mental
Yeah,
health piece?
100%. When yoga was really introduced to me back in high school, I wasn't receptive to it. Right. The only thing I knew is, like you said, is a lot of women are taking this class or are practicing, and I never saw representation of men, tall men and tall black men leading the space. So I just assumed that this was for smaller women. And I was just like, because the way their bodies move, my body, my knees don't work like that. My hips aren't, I just was like, nah, that's intimidating. And then I just remember early on how challenging it was physically and how, honestly, I just felt humbled because here I am, someone who can lift all these weights, run this fast, and pass all these other physical tests. But when you want me to hold a downward dog for 3 breaths, I'm struggling. My shoulders are shaking. You know what I'm saying? And the young lady over here to my right and to my left, they over here just continuing to breathe. And I'm just like, man, I'm getting kicked right now. Like, and that's for me, I had to let that go. I had to let that ego out the window and just realize, okay, keep my blinders on, stay in my lane, focus on my mat, focus on my practice on my mat, right? It's not as much competition as I put everything else out here to be just because of that athletic mindset. So that took some time. And I really didn't lean into that until I was really retired and saw the benefits and the healing that I was able to get mentally and physically from that practice of yoga.
What position you played with the Saints?
So I was a receiver, and I was able to play. Most people try to get me to play tight end because of my size, but I knew that honestly, I just never wanted to put my hand in the ground because as soon as you put your hand in the ground, that just opened up a whole nother can of worms, and I knew I didn't want that smoke. So I tried to stay fast. I tried to stay lean so where I could stay out on the outside and play that game. But if I if I did need to come inside and the formation or whatever, then I could just play that slot receiver.
No, I got you. So for the people who don't know, what is flow? What is that type of energy that's going through, and what you got in connection with?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think what flow is that key ingredient to one how I move now and just going with the flow. I think Bruce Lee was the one who coined the quote, be like water, and and when he explained it, it's just like water. Just it has no form, right? It forms to whatever it's in. So if you put water in the cup, it becomes the cup, and you just flow with that. The water just adapts to that. And that's that little analogy can be magnified so much into the greater scheme of things, into how we move and operate in this world. And so even with a yoga practice or a guided meditation or breath work practice, finding that same flow within myself. I have a saying, I say, flow before you go, flow as you go, and before you know you're going with the flow. So breaking that down is like how I start my day, right? I find some part of my day that I need to start a flow, right? What that can look like, my morning routine of, prayer, devotion, meditation, sitting in silence. And, I don't always move my body every morning, but finding a flow to start my day. So flow before you go out into the world, before you start doing your emails and getting to your regular routine. Flow before you go, and then as you go throughout your day, you find time to continue to flow, right? Connecting to your breath when situations are uncomfortable or where you feeling a sense of heightenedness of stress in that moment, continue to come back into your breath and flow. And then before you know, consistently doing that, you're going with the flow.
So for the people, not just men specific,
Yeah.
that want to get into the flow, like
Mm-hmm.
how would you encourage them to do so? I mean, it's probably a young person now who's doing like we've done a lot of weightlifting,
Mm-hmm.
running track and all that, but don't know the importance of stretching or yoga or getting into the flow. So how would you approach that young person or just anybody for that matter, adult? Because I know
But
it's not too
anyway,
late.
I think that the simplest thing that I would do is tell them to, everybody who's listening right now, I would just invite you to just close your eyes for a brief second and sit in stillness and under the sound of my voice on your inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Noticing what sensations feel coming up for you in that moment, and know how calm you feel just from taking one deep breath. That sense of relaxation, and when we connect our breath to our nervous system, I think that is the common denominator to all these different modalities is your breath. That's how all of us are connected, is with our breath. We take that for granted every day, but when we first are born and come into this world, we take our first breath, and we yawn, we cry, we are breathing life until our last breath. There, everybody is like, "Wow, I was with them and with their last breath," right? But everything in between, we just take for granted. At all those breaths that come until you realize, like, I can't breathe, and then you value your actual life. And so that starting to take more mindful breaths throughout the day is a great way to start finding that flow within yourself.
So being that that's part of your daily routine, do you have anything that you do outside of that that would be considered self-care?
Yeah, of course. For me, self-care can look like going to get a manicure and pedicure every 2 weeks, or going to get a massage, or going to or just taking time to listen to positive affirmations, or taking time to that's a shameless plug for affirmations and ad libs that's out right now on all streaming platforms. So I'll take time to do that, or journal and write down what I'm grateful for. Is very important part of my self-care practice. I was just doing that while we was waiting to get live on this. I'm like, bro, you a little behind on your gratitude journal.
Hey, that's a good thing because one, a lot of people believe they know how to breathe, but don't know how to breathe correctly. And then
Yeah,
two, a lot of people don't give like themselves grace and have a lot of gratitude. So it's good that you do those things on the regular and you implement those within your schedule. You just mentioned something, man. You just mentioned that plug. Talk to the people. Let
yeah.
them know
So
what that's about.
yeah, so affirmations and ad libs. That was my first swing at bat as an artist, you would say, and it was very interesting for me. That's something that was birthed out of the pandemic. Every word was something that I've recited to myself for for almost over a year, and every day in the mirror, I'm saying these words to myself, and then one day I'm saying it at a pace and then I'm hyping myself up with ad libs. And I stopped and said to myself, I said, bro, did you just ad lib these affirmations, to yourself? And I looked in the mirror and I answered back. I said, yes, yes, I did. Having that conversation with myself, and I realized, I said, bro, that I've never heard that before. I've never experienced that before. And I was like, well, maybe you should do something about it. And that's when I linked up with my boy, shout out Spaceman and JMB Music, and got in the studio with them, and they brought that to life. And then when we did that, I was excited about the next project that I could do, and that's confirmation. That noise was just confirmation that yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna put that down, but I'm excited because that is confirmation that we was on the right page with the Meditation Mixtape Volume 1 that I'm getting ready to release on Earth Day 4/22. I'm very big into numbers and alignment, so that project was something that was put on my heart because I saw that there was a void and that there was a lack of diversity and voices in this space of mindfulness and meditation. And on my journey, I was searching for that voice. And shout out to my guy Docs, the meditation guru. He put it like this. He said, "This is your soul's request." And so my soul requested this mixtape because there was nothing else out there like this, and so I had to go within to do that work in order to produce what I'm present to everybody here coming soon.
No, I mean, I think it's gonna be a game changer just from like snippets that I like 2 years ago, maybe I did a mindfulness, just talking people through breathing
Yeah,
on the IG joint, and it was received like well from a
yeah,
lot of men and of course women. So I can only imagine how a full length project is probably gonna be received. And like you said, it's not a lot of people within that space, so it's gonna be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. So as soon as that thing drop, let me know
yeah,
so I can let the people know.
yeah. Nah, for sure. I think, and I already dropped the first single off the project just yesterday called "Rise and Shine." That's the first single. I got my brother JMB Music on there with the live sax again, and it's just coming through for that project. I really wanted to set the tone and provide people because everybody's looking for a morning routine now, right? Everybody's looking for something to do to change it up, whether it's the affirmations or guided meditation. They're just looking for something to start their day off. And so that's what I would love for this project to be, a combination of a self-care starter kit, right? Of, if you take Rise and Shine, and if you take affirmations and ad libs, that's 11 minutes right there to start your day if you so choose, right? But if you just pick one, that's 5, 6 minutes each that you can just, get that soul food that your body needs to go out there and be the best version of yourself that day. And it's different pieces on on the project that speaks to me, but I just want people to receive this wherever they are, right? If you're a beginner and you get exposed to this project, I want you to, I invite you to just come into the experience with an open mind, no expectations, and just let the music and let the words, guide you, and let that flow just do its thing.
Now, I think it's gonna be received real well, man. And I
Yeah.
think
because one, like you said, a lot of people want something to get them started in the morning, like on their way to work. They want to be in a
Mhm.
headspace. So when they do encounter those infractions throughout the day, that'd be good. But also, man, at night, I know for me too, I previously I used to listen to white noise, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or listen to the band.
Yeah. Okay. So you hit the white noise. So
Yeah.
shout out to my boy Spaceman again. When we was in the studio producing, he was like, "Bro, I'm gonna put some white noise at the bottom of this. I'm gonna put," and then he even put me on the pink noise. I didn't even know it was a such thing as pink noise too. So we added a little bit of pink noise on these projects. So I'm definitely gonna have you, right where you need to be. Definitely some joints that you might fall asleep on. You might not even make it to the end of the track. And you're gonna wake up like, where am I at?
No, and that's what it is. That like
Yeah,
because it's so soothing, especially at night.
yeah.
It's a lot of people too. Like, so what I started telling my clients is like I got a lot of clients who often fall asleep with a poor bedtime routine,
Mhm.
meaning the TV on or they listen to music or whatever, not knowing that those energies are still
Download it.
being
It's
exactly.
downloaded
It's
into your
still
subconscious.
while you sleeping, not even thinking about it. It's still being
Man.
embedded. So I started encouraging them to do white noise or just have a fan or the pink noise, like you said, get you some lavender going on or any of those things. So what you got coming is definitely gonna
Mhm.
be one of my go-tos. Oh, go and
Yeah.
get this, go and get
Yeah,
this
go
John before you go
ahead.
to bed.
Go ahead and get that. And I
Yeah.
think one of the things about that you brought up about that nighttime routine of like, setting your space and one of the things I started a couple years, probably during the pandemic as well, was taking all the electronics out of my room when it's time to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like I already didn't have a TV in my room, and so leaving my phone outside my room, charge it outside my room, because that way, like when my alarm goes off, I gotta go get up to go get it, and I'm not sitting in the bed scrolling, all night, wasting more time, whether it's at night or in the morning when I wake up, because we all fall into the habit of getting our phone and start scrolling. It's sometimes it's like, I'm like, all right, I gotta break this habit, but in order for me to do that, I gotta be intentional about it. So that's helped my sleeping a lot, along with the breathing, along with whatever else I'm listening to, like that white noise or frequency music. I like frequency music, and I'll just tap into certain frequencies depending on what I feel my body needs.
How do you feel about people getting connected with sound healing and Reiki?
Oh my gosh, I had my first Reiki experience and healing session in 2020 at a critical time in my life where a lot of things came to the surface for me. And then that's when, I was skeptical going in, right? And just because of stigma, but it was really more just me not being educated on what Reiki is, and for someone who's not aware, that's listening to what Reiki is, I think in short is it's light force energy, and everything is energy, everything is vibration. So it's an opportunity for energy to flow through and come to the surface and really just speak to you. Wherever you are, it's going to speak to you. And then the same thing with sound healing is an intentional use of sound to intentionally bring healing to the body, from the facilitator with different instruments, and sometimes just silence, because there's so much sound in silence that we don't really understand, and that's a lot to unpack too, because a lot of people are uncomfortable with silence, because that's when they feel like their thoughts start going rampant, and they just get uncomfortable with silence. So you're looking for things to do or things to distract you from that moment of going within. So I think there's, different modalities like Reiki and sound healing together are just an amazing combination for healing and offering that up.
No, I mean I would agree, and I posted something the other day. Like I personally had to learn to rest,
Mm,
because you thinking like, yo, I'm sitting down, I'm not doing anything, but for me. I'm sitting down not doing anything, but I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about something I'm supposed to be
Next
doing.
thing, thinking about the next thing.
So I realized too, like, yo, you still not resting, bro. What are you doing? So I had to switch it up. So I posted that the other day, and a lot of people was able to associate with that, like, yo, I'm tripping. I'm thinking since I ain't doing XYZ. No,
Yeah,
but if you still thinking about it, you still not in the moment. You
yeah.
still,
In the
you
moment, in the present moment. And so, a little trick that I've always used to help bring me back to the present moment. And, I've already said it 1,000 times. Is your breath, right? Your breath is your anchor. So it's the moment you bring your awareness to your inhale and exhale, you are now in the present moment. The moment you look down at your feet and realize my feet are here and wherever they are, that's the present moment. So be where your feet are, and connect with your breath and enjoy that present moment. Allow yourself to rest. Find that rhythm of rest.
so for me, just outside looking in, viewing the first sound bowls and
Yeah,
the bells, like I was
yeah,
like, yo, ain't no way that's gonna change somebody. Like,
yeah,
what is,
yeah. Nah, for
cause
sure.
because just viewing it, you thinking like, yo,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah,
they
yeah.
tripping.
Let me break it down. This is what in my learning, I'm still learning. I'm still a student, and in my learning, this is what made sense to me, and why I decided to lean into it, because everything is vibration, and because the reason they call it a sound bath is not because there's any water outside of your body that you have to like get into a bath. We are all made up of 70% water at least, right? So anytime it vibrates through our body through this energy that's being transmuted through the different instruments, it's going to cause internal shift, on a cellular level. So that is where the bath part comes in. It's literally these vibrations are washing over you internally. And so if you allow yourself to rest by connecting to your breath and stimulating that parasympathetic nervous system, that left side of your body, that rest and digest part of your body, you are able to tap into that state, and really sink in and really just allow that work to be done. And when I realized that impact that had on me from experiencing as a as a participant, and then the power that I have to generate as a facilitator, I was like, wow, there is a lane for this. But the thing that I want to do is show up as a facilitator and be relatable and be accessible and be someone that people can say, hey, that guy looks like me, that guy sounds like me. And now I'm at least open-minded. And all I want to do is plant seeds. I just want to plant seeds, because that's what was like people planted seeds of yoga, of mindfulness, of breath work to me years ago. But I'm just now catching on.
Nah, and that's what it is. And I think for me too, that's the same thing. Like I just want to do the work. It's gonna reach who it's gonna reach. I'm
Gonna
just
reach.
happy is reaching people who like, yo, I didn't even know
Yeah,
that it was here. I didn't even know
yeah.
it was black therapists, or I ain't know man was in the space, or dang, I could have been flexible all this time if I would have just did yoga or whatever the case is. So
Man.
yeah, yeah. So one more time, what's the how can they get the CD joint that
Yeah,
you
so
put
the,
together?
the the project Affirmations and Ad Libs is already on all streaming platforms, and then you can pre-order the Meditation Mixtape Volume One. That's coming April 22nd. That's Earth Day, so that's right around the corner. The project it got 8 tracks on it. That's something I'm extremely proud of, and it's just enough to stimulate your appetite. It's a little 8-piece nugget.
Nah, that's dope. That's a filler. That right there
Yeah,
get you to that
yeah, nah,
entree.
nah. Come on, that 8-piece nugget to get the job done.
Yeah. So I mean, I know what you're doing for Earth Day. What do you normally do for Earth Day?
Normally, man, I love to just get outside and do a grounding meditation. Let my whether wherever I'm at, like the beach, or if I'm at a park, if I can just get next to a tree and just really just do some grounding meditation and really take some mindful deep breaths and connecting. to Mother Earth, to the beautiful resource that we take for granted every day, right? It's so much energy going around right now, but I feel like being intentional on that day is another reason why I wanted to drop the project on that day, right? It made sense to drop a mindfulness project on Earth Day where people can give people a reason to take time for themselves and to show gratitude, for this earth that we live on.
Yo, and that's something that I explained to my daughter. So we do a project on Earth Day, like we've been doing it. But I explained to them like, yo, we take so much from the earth, whether it's natural resources, but rarely do you have an opportunity to give back to the earth. So we do a project, whether it's gardening or picking up trash. That past couple of years, we've been getting an organization and cleaning up cemeteries and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So after Earth Day, though, May is rolling around, which is
Yeah.
Mental Health Awareness Month. Any projects you got going on around that?
I will continue to, voice and be an advocate in that space, whether it's, being on podcasts or panels, making myself available to keep that conversation going and flowing, and just really just using the momentum from the album dropping and continue to leverage that in conversations and introducing, other content to support the project, whether it's visuals that continue to help bring home the full picture.
Yeah, no, I understood.
Yeah,
So right after May, though, which is June, that's
yeah,
Men's Health Month. So I'm
yeah.
sure you got some similar projects going on around that as well to bring that awareness to the men.
Man, this stretch, this period right now is just like you couldn't ask for a better stretch of, from what I got going on with in this month and heading into men's health month in June. I think, like I said, the same thing is just making sure I'm aligned with other people who are in this space to continue, like yourself, to continue to keep that conversation going and flowing and showing how important it is for us, especially as Black men, to hold space for each other to heal. I think that's the most important part, is showing up and holding space, right? Because not everybody can hold space and make you feel safe to a point where I want to be vulnerable, to a point, and especially in front of strangers, right? But true vulnerability is an asset and not a liability. And once we start to reprogram our minds to receive that, I think that would be a huge game changer for us, especially as men.
I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate your insight, your
Yeah,
time, and everything, man. So if you would tell the people where they can find you, not only get your project that's out, but also follow you, connect with you. If they got a question or a comment or something, give the
yeah,
people the
definitely.
information.
Definitely. My website has all my information. It's Soul Code the brand at soulcodethebrand.com. Soulcodethebrand.com. And IG, you could just type in Soul Code, all caps, or B_code 16. It'll pop up. That's me. And definitely follow the journey, man. I love to connect and love to engage with other people, other beautiful souls, and continue to collaborate, continue to receive and pour into others as well, right? We are a community, we are all brothers and sisters with each breath in our lungs. So I appreciate you allowing me to share space with your community and your followers. But yeah, definitely tap in with me, man.
Already, man. It's you. I definitely would encourage people to tap in, man, because you do a lot of zenful stuff. Whether that's meditation, mindfulness in the park, on the beach,
Yeah,
sound bowls. I've seen it all
yeah,
on your page, man, which is a good thing because you're exposing people to something else that they don't normally see.
mm,
It's a lot of, I guess, derogatory stuff or stuff that's not as meaningful that
mhm,
one should digest on a current basis. So it's good to break it up with the content that you put out, man. So I definitely appreciate you for stopping by, sharing info and some light to the people to give them additional knowledge or enhance the knowledge that they already possess based around these topics. So my man, I definitely appreciate you. I'll catch you on the other side.
Yes, sir, man. Be blessed.